Hello everyone, my name is Jenna Jihad. I'm a 17-year-old Palestinian from the tiny village of Nabi Saleh in occupied Palestine. I am a journalist and an advocate for Palestinian children's rights, and I will start off by talking a little bit about my personal life as a Palestinian child living under the Israeli apartheid. If I want to talk a little bit about my earliest memories, I was born into an activist family. So the earliest stories that I remember my grandma telling me are the stories of my family being deported and forcefully displaced to Jordan for their activism work, or how my mom was born into a family without a father because her father was in jail, and how my grandma had to fill the role of her father and mother for her children, for my mother. Throughout my life and my childhood, I've always recognized that I am not a normal child. I am not living in a normal situation. I mean, if I want to talk about a day in my life throughout the past 17 years, it would usually start with me not waking up on my alarm like any other child in the world. I usually would wake up on the sounds of gas canisters bombing near my window, or on the sounds of Israeli occupation forces raiding my house and putting their weapons on my head, forcing me to wake up for a random search, maybe because they wanted to arrest a person in the village, or to just simply terrorize all the children in the village. Usually after this traumatic experience, I don't go back to bed. I usually stay awake, start at 6 a.m., start getting ready to go to my school, 7 a.m., leave my house, and my school resides in Ramallah, which is the city close to Nabi Saleh. It's about 30 to 25 minutes away without checkpoints. But on my way to Ramallah, to my school, I'm usually faced with multiple checkpoints. And Israeli checkpoints are not checkpoints where they check your ID and let you go. They're literal blockades on the streets, where on the entrance of Nabi Saleh, if there's a checkpoint, instead of me reaching my school in maximum 30 minutes, I would have to take a whole other route that might have another blockade on it that could take me up to 3 or 4 hours to reach my school. Almost every day I'm late to my classes. Sometimes I'm unable to reach my school for days or weeks. My school, as I said, resides in an area in the western entrance of Ramallah that is right next to an illegal settlement called Beit El, and a lot of demonstrations and protests for Palestinians take place there. And whenever we try to protest, we get suppressed by gas canisters, live ammunition. So whenever we're in our classes, we're constantly hearing gas canisters and live ammunitions being shot all around our school. Sometimes for our lunch break, we cannot get out of the building because it's unsafe. Sometimes we're held after school for hours because we're scared to get out of the school. Going back to Nabi Saleh, same situation. Checkpoints, blockades. Going back to Nabi Saleh, finally reaching my house, trying to study or do something after my long, exhausting day. Similar to how there are night raids, there's also day raids where Israeli occupation forces raid the village, target random houses, arrest random children walking in the street. We're always in a constant state of distress. I'm always afraid to lose myself, lose a family member, and this is what I've always knew. This is the life that I've always lived my whole life. The Israeli occupation system, this apartheid system, affects my life not only from these aspects that I just mentioned, but affects my life from every single possible aspect you can imagine. They violate every single fundamental right, either directly or indirectly. Even my simple right to live. I am not sure that I can continue a day without being shot or arrested or injured. And this situation of my life as a child, and the situation that every other Palestinian child constantly lives, it didn't start yesterday or a week ago. It has started in 1948 in the Nakba, when the Israeli apartheid state was established. When it was established on the slaughter of Palestinians, especially children, on the forceful displacement of Palestinian families. And it has not stopped then. It is a constant catastrophe, a constant nakbeh, constant violations and war crimes that we must endure every day just because we're Palestinians, because of our identity. We're treated as second-class citizens. And I'm talking about my life under direct Israeli occupation, military occupation in the West Bank, but we have Palestinians in Gaza who are living currently under siege, who have been living under siege for the past 16 years, where the Israeli occupation controls all of their fundamental resources, water, electricity. They're under constant attacks. Probably you guys heard every year, almost every 2 years, constant attacks on Gaza for Israelis to test their new lethal weapons on this population who are living in an open-air prison. And I'm talking to you today. If I want to talk about my life, I will not ever finish if I want to keep talking about the violations. But I talk to you because as Britain, you must take responsibility, because this is the aftermath of the British imperialism. This is This is what we've been put through because of the British imperialism. And I am not calling on you for only, for you to only call for peace or call for justice. I am calling on you to take tangible action for us as Palestinians to see tangible peace, tangible justice, tangible equality on the ground for all Palestinian people. You must put an end to war crimes. You must hold Israel accountable for their violations, for their constant war crimes that they've been committing. Leave away your double standards, your racism, and look at us as humans. We're Palestinians, we're like you, we're humans. We're just like your children, your brothers, your sisters. We must be living a normal life. And you must also take into account that it is not a normal conflict. It's not a conflict of two equal powers. This is an issue of indigenous people who are oppressed and constantly facing genocides, being ethnically cleansed by a nuclear force who are oppressing them and who are exploiting them and ethnically cleansing them. An apartheid system. So I call on you to take immediate actions. I call on you to fight every form of injustice, because everything is interconnected. To fight racism, colonialism, imperialism, patriarchy, apartheid, colonialism, all of these faces of the same coin, because all of us should fight these systems in order for all of us to reach a collective liberation, for Palestinian children to live a normal life, to be able to dream without limitations. I call on you to take immediate action to hopefully for us to unite to make a world of peace, justice, equality, and a world without occupation and settler colonialism, and hopefully a free Palestine soon. Thank you.